So next week there is this holiday called Thanksgiving. And for years I've always called it the holiday of giving thanks. And so tonight's topic that I decided to choose was gratitude. And this word has been used, so often in so many different ways. And to me, it's one of the significant spiritual tools to navigating this reality, how to maintain the spirit of gratitude in our lives, no matter what's happening. I mean, it's easy to be grateful when everything is going well, right? Thank you for my health. Thank you for my relationships. Thank you for my home. It's so easy to be aware of that which is positive and to be grateful for those things. But it's also important to maintain this gratitude when things are not going well, to be grateful for the hard times or the challenges, because there's a gift in all of our experiences, no matter how we consider them, no matter how we perceive them, there's a gift there. And when we stay open and receptive to whatever is happening, then we maintain this flow of energy. We are able to ride these waves and to allow all the experiences to take us where we're here to go, to help us transcend this reality, this duality, this illusion. And, it's very humbling when we take the stance of gratitude when things are not going so well. I remember years ago, I was a painter. I was an artist in my early 20s, and I had created all of these beautiful oil pastels, and I was going to sell them in the city, in New York City. And I had a friend with me, and we were at the train station on the platform. And the train came, and there was a bunch of stuff that we had. I mean, like all of these things to put the paintings on, and large structures. And so we got on the train, and the doors closed, and immediately I took a scan of all of our stuff, and I was like, where's the bag with the paintings? And he just shrugged his shoulders, like, I have no idea. And I was like, I've got to get off at the next stop, and I had to go back and get those paintings, because if I don't have those paintings, I have nothing to sell. And I was so sure everything would work out fine, because nobody would ever touch those paintings, like it's invisible, so they'll still be there. So I got off the next stop, went across, got the next train back, and as soon as I got to the platform, the doors had closed and a train was just leaving with all these young kids on it. And I was like, oh no, that's not good news. And I went back to where I was standing, and there was no paintings. And I was devastated, because that was my income for the next few months. And so I get on the train, and I'm so downtrodden, and like I'm a victim. I just feel like, everything went wrong. And my inner voice said, you didn't lose your hands, did you? And in that moment, I just stopped and let go of everything, and realized that I was telling myself a story, and that, yeah, the reality is I lost my artwork and I lost my income for the next few months, but I had my hands and I could make more paintings. So the moral of the story was that, to be grateful for what I had rather than what I'd lost. Like those paintings are created and they're actually somewhere in the world 30 years later. I'm sure they're somewhere, who knows? But they exist. And to embrace the I don't know of why things happen, I have no idea why these things actually happen, but I'm grateful that I have my hands. And so it's a simple but profound story of, maintaining this stance of gratitude no matter what's transpiring. And even to say, like afterwards, I was like, well, thank you. Thank you for losing those paintings, because somehow I received this profound gift in that teaching and that lesson. And it stays with me till this day. No matter what's happening, I just maintain that gratitude. And because of it, the world opens up for me. Like when I was driving from New York to Asheville for 4 years, the last drive that I made back to Asheville, I got a flat tire half an hour before I returned home. And instead of going to the place of, losing my center and getting all upset, I was like, thank you so much for 4 years of, easy driving with not one problem. And then the last moment, the last half hour of my journey, that's the only time I ever had a problem. So really focusing on the many gifts that we've received before that one moment, perhaps, of what didn't work out. Like, for example, a relationship perhaps that ended. How many beautiful things happened before that relationship ended? So instead of contracting due to the ending of the relationship, to expand and receive all the gifts of the relationship. This is the challenge that we're all faced with these minds of ours that focus on, the glass that's 1/10 empty, perhaps, maybe 1% empty, and 99% filled. Like how to receive the gifts even when things are not going our way, or seemingly don't look like they're going our way. My inner voice would always say, you can't lose what's yours. You can't lose what's yours. So don't dwell upon it. Don't dwell upon what's gone. Focus on what's present gift. So gratitude is the attitude for a life fulfilled. Gratitude is the attitude for a life fulfilled. And so each time then, that's the waves that I'm talking about, the ascending process. The receptivity allows us to keep ascending to these places of, that which serves our highest good, to accept everything exactly as it is, exactly as it's unfolding. Can be challenging at times. And it doesn't mean we don't experience grief or loss. It's not a bypass, the gratitude. It's not about discounting how we feel. It's about holding all aspects all at the same time. Holding all aspects at the same time, giving space for everything. There was a movie I recently watched called Call Me By Your Name. And there was a talk that the father gave to the son. And it was so profound. I had to rewind the movie. I rarely do this. I'm like, what did he just say? Like, that was worth the whole movie. And the guidance he was giving this young son was because he saw that he was shutting down. He saw that he was creating these ways of coping and surviving. And he didn't want his son to shut down his emotions because of this perceived loss of the relationship that he was in. And so he said, if you shut down your grief, you also shut down all the gifts you just received in this relationship. So let it all unfold inside of you. Let the grief allow the flow of the jewels, the gifts that you received. Let that all flow in the same river. And that was a profound statement to tell his son. And his son got it. You could see the transformation happening in his consciousness. It was so beautiful. I had to rewind and write down the words specifically, and I'm going to contemplate that over and over again, because it is so spot on that when we shut ourselves down or focus on the loss, then all that we gained is also not able to come through either. So we wall ourselves off to the many gifts that we receive in these times of grief or loss. There's also that story of the farmer, which many of you may know, who he had a farm with his son with these horses, and one day one of the horses ran off, and the neighbors said, "Oh, how unfortunate that you lost a horse." And he just shrugged and said, "Yeah, maybe." And then one day the horse came back with a whole bunch of wild horses together. And the neighbors said, "Wow, how fortunate you are that you have all these horses." And he's like, "Yeah, maybe." And then one day the son was taming one of the horses, and the horse threw him off and he broke his leg. And the neighbors were like, "How unfortunate that your son broke his leg." And the farmer said, "Maybe, who knows?" And then the next day, the military came to enlist his son, and they saw that he had a broken leg, and they had to pass him by so he didn't have to go to war. And the neighbors are like, "How lucky you are, how fortunate you are that your son broke his leg." And he's like, "Maybe." So what does any of us actually know about what's happening to us and whether it's actually positive or negative, right? The sixth contemplation, I know nothing. I really have no idea what's going on in my life. So to be able to take that stance of gratitude, no matter what's transpiring, really allows us to navigate this reality with so much more grace and ease. And again, with that humility, the humility of, bowing down to our hearts and being like, "I'm feeling this, I'm experiencing this, and I'm gonna open myself up rather than contract because of this experience. I'm going to be grateful for this experience." And because of that, we have a different relationship to life, to people, to source, to everything, because we are no longer putting values upon our life experiences. We're just a big yes to everything, a big yes. And in that, it doesn't mean that we just accept it for what it is. We also can ask for help. We also can ask for guidance. We also can open ourselves up and be receptive to, okay, I'm not feeling great about this, but what can you offer me? What intelligence can you bring me about this situation? And then you remain open and see what unfolds. That's the gift of gratitude from my perspective.